Welcome to Worldwide House Hunters, and today we are visiting a home in Texas, a beautiful home in Texas. Uh, Azle, Texas? I've never heard of this place, but this home makes me want to kind of visit. Uh, this house is $769,000. And so it caught my eye. That alone caught my eye outside of the pictures because I wanted to compare it to the video of the house we did that was in Florida for $769,900. We have a video for that house that I did a couple of days ago. So I wanted to kind of compare the house that you get in maybe Texas compared to the house that you get in Florida for right around the same money. This one's a little bit higher than his estimate. His estimate is $762,000. And it's a 3,100 square foot house, 3,131 feet. And it's 5 bedroom, 3 bath. So that might have been a little different than the one that we had recorded the other day. But let's take a look at it. This one, I don't think it has a 3D. Doesn't have a 3D tour. We got to get on some of these agents. They got to get these 3D tours because you get a better sense for how the size of the house and how things work in the house when you have a 3D view. But we'll work with what we got. We have pictures here, so we're going to work with that. I noticed right away that it's got these kind of sharp peaks. Lot of roof space here, so there must be a lot going on behind that. I wonder how high the ceilings are inside. I wonder if this is kind of like the living room area. Maybe there's over the living room, and then here maybe there's an upstairs or something. So we'll see what we get here. But it looks like a ranch home. It looks like it would be 1 story, pretty much living space anyway. But we'll see if there's actually a second story because it looks like we got something going on back here. Not a lot of shrubbery. Maybe it's a newly built home, and so maybe that's why. But it looks like we got some planting going on here, some landscaping going on here across the front, and that'll probably grow up with time. Nicely manicured here. Almost doesn't even look like a driveway. Almost feels like a walkway. Going up to the house. So that's interesting, and I don't really see where the garage would be unless that's enough space for a garage back there somewhere. Really don't see that. I would imagine it'd be like on one of the ends of the home is where the garage is. We can't really tell from this picture, but we'll see. But I don't know. I'm used to Florida trees. So I don't know what type of tree this necessarily is here, but hopefully it will grow up and provide some more shade. Here looks like we got another tree that's been planted here, but it doesn't look like it looks like they probably cleared a lot of space to build this home or whatever and didn't leave too many of the trees there. See, the grass is new because you could still see the sections here. I forget what they call them. I've been out of the United States so long. I forget what they call them, but yeah, you could still see that they just a sod basically. So they basically just laid this sod down. You can see here on the front they've got lighting in front of each of the windows. I don't know why they would necessarily do that if it's pointing at windows per se. I could see maybe on the sides of the windows, but it'd be interesting. Maybe they have a picture of it at night. I don't know. We'll see if they've got one. But it looks like it kind of slopes down here, so it's on a little bit of a hill, which means maybe the water when it rains and stuff like that should flow away from the house, which is kind of good. Something to think about as well. But yeah, nice lines though. I like this style. Nice lines. Yeah, looks quite nice. And then, is this actual brick or is this like the brick facade that they put on these homes? It almost looks like brick. Wow, looks like actual brick. Sometimes you just can't tell nowadays though. So, but nice. I mean, it sits nice on the lot. Looks like it actually even slopes up still in the back, so it's kind of halfway up this hill kind of thing. It looks like it gets a little higher back there, so you probably have some privacy due to the fact that the back of the house is the land is higher, and so people aren't just looking into your home. And it looks like this is some brush over here that's providing some privacy. Don't know what's on the other side of that. But wow, overall it looks pretty nice, right? Here's our entranceway. Nice wide entranceway here. You got to think about moving things in. So I would probably think that the front door would be bigger, for moving things in and out of the house, like sofas and that type of stuff, bigger things. So that's something I would be maybe a little bit concerned about, just, depending on what other doorways you have and all that type of stuff. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not no professional or nothing. I'm just kind of just things that pop into my mind when I'm looking at homes, right? But nice. There's another one of those lights. That's kind of nice. It's kind of in the recess there or whatever. It's not above, pointing at the window. It's back here on the house. So it's kind of interesting. But nice. It's not super. It's not super crazy or anything like that. But it looks really nice. It's really well done. Has nice lines. Yeah, not bad. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so now we've come inside here. I like the fan. Depend on what you do with this. You're gonna have to get some color, I think, in the furnishings. If there's gonna be some type of sitting, chairs here or whatever like that, I'd probably have to go with something a little more colorful here. It's nice, bright space, looks really clean, all of that. But as like a sitting space coming in, you probably want some type of you're gonna need a little bit of color going on here. So something contrasting can be, if you go with wood, I think wood would kind of work. A dark wood would definitely work as long as it's not overdone. And then, or you can go colorful. If you do some type of cloth seating, then you can kind of go with some colorful. You could actually go with like gray and black. Silverish color type, like striped couches or pillows, things like that too, might actually complement the paint. That's nice. Nice sitting area. You probably would have a TV here. And then it looks like a fireplace. I don't know if this is a working fireplace or not. I would almost doubt it. Maybe it's a faux fireplace, but it looks like they might have another one out here. I thought I saw a chimney in one of the first pictures when we were looking at the roof. Let me go back. Yeah, I did see a chimney here. So that tells me that this one outside is an actual fireplace. Oops. Go back one. This is not an actual fireplace, but this is. This one's probably a faux fireplace or whatever. But nice. I like how you've got kind of a recess and then you've got another one going up or whatever. Kind of opens the room up a little bit, gives it a little more space to it. And then you got the recess lighting, at least along the front. I don't see any more over here, but I see across the front you've got some recess lighting, and then you've got your main light, I guess, coming from your fan, and the ceiling fan is beautiful. It's really amazing. I think it's really amazing what, how far we've come as far as like things that you can put in your house to make them feel really luxurious. And I bet you that ceiling fan's not probably a whole lot of money, like you might think it might be. You can actually buy these things, and the normal person can actually afford them. A normal person can actually afford them and put them in their house, and feels kind of luxurious. It's actually quite nice. But yeah, once again, this kind of follows that the same thing I was saying about the other seating area when you first come in the front door. You got to maybe get some color in here. Some green plants might work too. Get some plants maybe here in a corner over here. Some plants, some green, and then get some other colors going on here, you can really, really feel really luxurious in this space. Look how I like how we have the open arches here, that, you know, the arching doorways where you kind of come in. It just feels really open. It's not a super large space really, but it's going to feel really open with these openings here. You're going to feel open, and someone can yell from one part of the other part of the house or whatever to you or whatever. You're going to hear what they're saying. You know, you're going to be able to communicate. I like the shelving. The shelving probably is good. You can put things here, like you can put plants here, a vase here, or books, or, you know, however you want to adorn that. There's a lot of opportunities there. Wow, quite nice. I'm liking the floor too. I'd imagine that's not real wood, some type of flooring, but it's cool. It's definitely very cool. I think probably would hide scuffs. You know, if there's any type of scuff to it, or moving furniture or something like that, and you kind of scuff it a little bit, it probably would hide that pretty well. I don't know, maybe, just depending on what material it's made out of. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So it's, like I said, it's not the largest space, but it's open here. But then again, you know, I was thinking it was going to be more open because I thought that this area went back further, but it looks like this is maybe the front door area or whatever. But so maybe one doesn't feel as open as I thought it would feel. Interesting. I just thought it went out into the main house a little bit more, but maybe not. Okay, now this is starting to make sense. Oh, it doesn't look like that from here, right? You wouldn't guess that from here. I thought this was closed off, but it actually goes out maybe to the kitchen area. So it is quite wide here. Wow. Stairs going up here. So there is a second floor. Remember, we were saying that it looks like there's probably a second floor back there. And then we were talking about the height of the ceilings in the living areas or whatever, based on the roof line that I saw. So yeah, so there's definitely a second floor. This lamp being at this height, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to stick a dining table here or something here, because how low this is hanging. But yeah, it looks really beautiful. This is a nice space, but it looks like it's tying into the kitchen here. So let's see. Yeah, so that's what we were looking at. We were seeing this countertop here. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process was on the picking the cabinets. I mean, I get like kind of the lighting and maybe the accents here on the faucet. But I don't know why this got a little bit more, I don't know, it seemed more natural, more rustic. And then you kind of have the tile, marble, like a marble tile or whatever, a little bit of marble here. And then these cabinets here are entirely different color. I don't know what they were doing there. I don't think I would. I think I would always be confused by that when I come into the kitchen. I think I would just be like, why does this look like this? It just doesn't feel like anything else that we've seen so far. I don't know what the thought process was behind this choice here. You would think they would go with something like this. Because look at the front of the front of this island here, and then down here you got the gray. So like we saw the house in New York, in Brooklyn, where they had the different color cabinets on the bottom, and then on the top they had a different color, and it worked. But this is not gonna work. I could see if they went with a white, maybe a white would have worked better. I don't know. I don't know why they would make that choice. Oh, what do you guys think? Do you like it? What do you think about it? Like, do you think it makes sense? To me, it doesn't make sense. But who am I? It's like, I don't know. But just for me walking in and looking at it, I don't think I would have put that together. just the texture of it is just so different. Even just the texture of the marble, and then you've got this wood texture. Just doesn't, and then the color just does it. It just seems off to me. So yeah, see how that's just weird to me. It just is. Maybe, I think they were just trying to get something to stand out or whatever. I don't think they thought that through pretty well, or maybe they ordered it and I don't know. They ordered it and just decided to put it up anyway. But I can tell. Like I used to build houses when I was a kid. I studied carpentry in school, and then I got out and we were building houses in Greece, New York, and I got a job doing that as a carpenter. And there was a lady. I just remember this lady who. Her husband was pretty well off. He did all right. So the house, we didn't build the house. I think it was another builder that built the house across the street from the house we were working on. And that woman probably changed the kitchen 5 times before they moved in. Like she was not playing around at all. It's like I just remember them having to keep painting and changing things and stuff like that. So I think that might be what would happen here if somebody was building this and she came in and saw these cabinets. She would be like, you got to take that down. So I remember that for sure. I was like, people, and I'm coming from a place where like we didn't have a lot of money or whatever like that. I wasn't in a situation where my parents had built a house yet or anything like that. So it's like, I was just like, man, this is how people live, and he's able to afford that. That's crazy. But yeah, she was something else. But yeah, I mean, this it looks nice. I think the cabinets are the only miss that I really see here. I like these nice wide drawers. Maybe the pictures are making them a little wider than what we would think they would be, but I like it. It's nice and wide, nice cabinet space. I mean, the space and having cabinets or whatever like that is great. It's definitely wonderful to have a lot of cabinet space, but got to pick the right cabinet. So far what we see is it's kind of like all in the same area, really. I mean, the way this kind of sits is a little bit strange, right? Because it's like the kitchen is right here. I thought this was closed off a little bit. And then maybe on this other side is where those doorways are. So I wonder if there's another like living space or den space or whatever. Maybe this is the living room, but it's $800,000, and it's like, is the dining room not separate? I would be thinking about that. Wow. But this is cool. I mean, you're not gonna die living there. You're not gonna, I think you'd be pretty happy in the space. It's not gonna be hurtful at all. I think the lines are nice. I think the way that they did the door in the kitchen is kind of nice. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, so it'd be interesting to see, because we saw that other lighting area. Where can we go back? Yeah, like this lights here or whatever, thinking like there's a dining table or something that could go there. Not a dining table, but like almost like a breakfast nook type thing. And I saw this little door. This must be storage or something like that. It's kind of short, so I wonder what you do there, what this actually is for. Kind of interesting. So maybe, is this the lamp that we saw next to the stairs? Yeah. Look how wide this looks here. This is why a 3D video is probably important. And now look at how thin it looks here. It doesn't look wide. So maybe it's just wide one way. It's not something like circular. That's a little odd, right? Okay, whatever. But the stairs are nice. I like the contrast of the black stairs with the black landings with the white uppers. So this probably fits the house a little bit. I think it fits the color wise, the railing or whatever, but it kind of looks like an outside railing. like something you'd see outside somewhere. But it's cool. I mean, maybe that's the aesthetic that they're going for. I think that like the geometry of it is nice because I'm into lines and geometric shapes. I think I've said that in a couple of videos. I'm just kind of into geometric shapes that way, so I kind of dig that myself. But then I'm kind of more my taste in in aesthetics like this or whatever, it might be different than other people. But see, look at this light. Look how wide it looks. And then from the other picture, it looked like it was really thin and like bunched together, like the balls were bunched together, and they're not. Strange, right? And imagine this is one of the bedrooms. It's carpeted off. Nice carpet, nice neutral. Got to get some colors in there or whatever. This is almost picture perfect. Almost looks like it's a picture hanging on the wall. But we can see like this berm of like land here or whatever going up. So there's definitely privacy there for the bedrooms being here. And I like how they kept the design of the ceiling for the bedroom too. I wonder if this is the master bedroom. Maybe so, because the bathroom looks like it's a master bath. Wow. Nice double doors going in. Okay, now I see they did something pretty cool here. I wonder what this is. Maybe this is the toilet room, but then you've got another room, another door over here. This is nice. This is really nice, but I'm like, what are these two doors? And then getting in the tub here, when you're getting out of the tub, this floor is going to be wet all the time, right? I don't know. Just seemed like an odd place to put a tub, but it's cool. I think it's really, really cool. I think that's pretty luxurious, and it gives it's just a different place to put a tub. And I like how they chose, how they have this color here, and then it's got that shine on it, so it kind of reflects the floor. This is a really nice bathroom. This is really nice. And then it's got the two sides, so it may be a his and her side, or a her and her side, or a his and his side. Who knows? Everybody can have their own space, and it's like, okay, here's your counter space, and here's mine. Some of them gonna be more full than others. And then the walk-in shower. Look at the size of that shower. It's like the width of the room. That's nice. You're feeling like you're walking into luxury. I think this bathroom would be one of the great selling points of the house. I think you walk in there, if this is your style, you're going to be like, oh, this is nice. And they kept kind of like the white marble, for the flooring, and then matching the countertops with that too. Nice. A lot of times you see the double sinks right next to each other, but this is cool because they have basically sinks on both sides. Still like to know, what is this door here? But very cool. Like this is very nice. Feels very luxurious. And this is the upstairs. So this looks like some type of almost like a day room. It's got you can go outside on the balcony here. Remember, I was talking about the balcony on that house in Florida. It's like I never see anybody come out on those balconies, especially in front of the house. But this one's probably in the back or side of the house. And it looks like it's definitely enough space for someone to go out there, sit, maybe put a little table and a couple of chairs out there. Definitely looks at least that large. So that's cool. It's like you're kind of up and above. But then it looks like the ground is right there. So maybe the ground rises up. I can't tell how far that is. Maybe those trees are larger. They're not shrubs. Those are trees larger than what I think they are. But nice, the fan, everything. This is really nice. But like I said, all it really needs is color in the a lot of color in the furnishings. But this is nice. Yeah, so this is larger than I even thought it was. I knew it was fairly large, but yeah, you can definitely put a nice table, probably 4 or 5 chairs here, some lounging chairs to lay out on or whatever, like if you're just relaxing on them or whatever. This is a really, really nice space. And it's up above. And now we can see the back of the house. We can see that berm of of land back here. And the trees, yeah, it's pretty good sized trees or whatever. So now we can kind of see what the size of them are really like. But yeah, there's a lot of privacy. Looks like there's no neighbors back here to bother you. Nobody looking in your house and messing with you. You could probably play your music loud and and really have a party or whatever here with your friends, and nobody's gonna say anything. You're not gonna have any trouble, right? Wow, nice. But I wonder if they're gonna landscape the rest of this, or are they gonna leave it wild, or they're gonna put more grass out there. It looks like they kind of, or even if this is their property, or is this even their property? Because maybe they landscaped up to the property line. Who knows? But yeah, this is really, really nice, and it's kind of cool because it got like the darker effect for it, I guess, and that complements the other outside of the house. So this is another bathroom, a second bathroom here. Very nice. They kept the bathrooms kind of the same. A lot of times you see people will take a bathroom and like change it. Change the second bathroom or the third bathroom. They'll change those. But they kind of kept the same aesthetic here. And maybe that was a cost thing. Maybe if they bought more of the same materials or whatever, maybe they, got a discount on it or something, or got the right price for it. But wow, this is really cool. I like the glass shower door here. Definitely always got to keep those clean. But it looks great, right? It looks really great. Toilet in there. Doesn't have its own space, so it's just kind of stuck there between the shower and the countertop, which is fine. I'm kind of used to that here in Brazil. I like the shower and the toilet and everything is like a lot of times is all in the same area. Fortunately, I have a box that's kind of like this, a glass box. I kind of have that separates mine, but yeah, so I'm used to small spaces. So this is a small space, but very, very cool. Maybe, I don't know if this is off one of the bedrooms or just a common bathroom, but very nice. Wow. Nice fixture, matching here, nice fixtures and everything. They kind of kept the aesthetic from the outside, the black aesthetic from the outside and the paint. Another bedroom here with a view, it looks like probably to the front of the house. Wow. This is a nice space for laundry. It's cool because you got the ability to hang clothes up here, put shirts and stuff like that on hangers, maybe things that you hand wash and stuff like that. Can hang it there. Wow. Very nice. It's a nice amount of space. You put your ironing board or whatever over here, and you have space to really kind of work on those things. Outside here, we can kind of see this a little bit from where the living room area was. We could see it out those windows. There's our fireplace that we were talking about that looks like it's probably actually works. So it's an actual chimney, which is cool. So that's got to be nice to sit outside here and hang out and with friends and barbecue and all that stuff here. This is nice, and I like the countertop here. So if you're barbecuing or whatever, you can put stuff on it. You got somewhere to put stuff, and just kind of hang out. Or you got friends over, whatever. You can maybe put a cooler up here or whatever, cooler with your beers and all that kind of stuff. Or, so it's nice to have kind of that counter space outside. I don't think you see that a lot, where they have a lot of counter space like that. It's kind of interesting, but beautiful. This is very cool. Wow. So nice, right? Lots of land, and I think that's something that I've seen for Texas homes. Seems like you can get a lot of land with it. It's definitely a lot more property than the house in Orlando had, in Apopka, but they don't have a pool. Here or whatever. So if, the other house had a pool, so that pool probably takes up a lot of square footage. So, but even outside of having the pool, I think they still just have a lot more space. And you kind of feel like, okay, I've spent almost $800,000 and I've got, a nice homestead that I can call home. And I think that's pretty cool. You can see where people can sit up here and chill out. Wow. Quite nice. So What do you guys think for in comparison to the house in Apopka, Florida, that was 769,000, or at least that's the estimate or close to the estimate for it. What do you think house wise? Do you think you got more house in Orlando than you did in Texas? Do you think the styling is better? What do you guys think about that? Thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.